right and exercise. I eat right and I exercise. I can't lose the weight. I don't know what's wrong with me. And oftentimes it's what we're eating, and we're thinking we're eating the right things, and we're absolutely going in the wrong direction. So, so with some of the foods that Lisa had on her first couple days, 2 days this week, Monday and Tuesday, I asked her to take snapshots of the food labels. And now, of course, like anyone would do, she took the nutrition facts, right? And she said, like, and you would think these look good: 0 sugar, 0 fat, lots of protein in a lot of these foods. And I said, no, no, no. I want to see the ingredients, right? Because we can put a whole lot of fake stuff in foods and have those facts that sell. The nutrition facts are what oftentimes sell people to buy food thinking it's healthy, but it's actually not. And so I had a lot of concerns in some of the products that I saw that I had asked Lisa to send me the labels for. And I saw pretty much this entire list of ingredients in these diet foods, like protein bars and powders and packaged food where you like add water or whatever. They're considered diet foods, yet they have the exact opposite effect on our bodies that we want them to. And that is part of a marketing scheme. It's a marketing ploy. It's how these companies make money at our expense, and at our expense not knowing any better. And it's awful. That's the problem with America, is we put out products that are harming people, and we're telling them that they're good for them, right? And I think a lot of that has made a big shift in recent years, in that we've caught on. And so diet foods and diet companies are all changing their names, right? Weight Watchers is now WW, Medifast is now Optavia. Like, they're all changing their names because they've gotten in trouble and their names became associated with bad things. So, but it's really hard to outrun that. So they're still getting that flack. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of these foods. One thing that caught my eye a few years ago was my best friend and I, we went on vacation together, and we always went on vacation together before COVID, and we would always do the same thing. We would buy one big pizza for the few days we were staying wherever, and we would buy a bunch of bagged salads and maybe a gallon of ice cream, and we would hole up, and we would go out for some dinners. But lunches were definitely, we'd have shakes for breakfast, we'd have a piece of pizza with half a bag of salad each for lunch, and we'd go out to dinner and have our ice cream when we got back. Well, I had gotten a gallon this time of Reese's peanut butter ice cream, and I'm sitting there looking at the label while we're eating it, and I see it says contains a bioengineered food product. And I look at her, I'm going, we're not eating food. And we stopped eating it. We're like, what is it? Like, it's not even real food. Like, why isn't ice cream just cream and butter and sugar or whatever it is, you know? And so that made me watch. And so now when I have packaged foods, I always just study the labels, and I'm like, man, what is in this stuff, you know? So, okay, so let me go over some of these things. And if you have foods in your house, go get curious, right? And that's the whole point. It's not to pick things apart. It's not to judge. It's to help get clinical and look at things and learn and be empowered by that, okay? So number one, artificial sweeteners, aspartame, sucralose, and other artificial sweeteners found in diet foods that make them 0 calories. They can absolutely disrupt what we call the gut microbiome. That's like the ecosystem of your gut, and it needs to be in balance. And when it's not in balance, it gets inflamed, and the gut lining gets inflamed, and it kind of can get ulcers and little holes in it, and the bad stuff can leak through. And if you've ever heard of the term leaky gut, it's an unhealthy gut, and it can cause you massive digestive issues. So that's one thing with artificial sweeteners. High fructose corn syrup. This is basically, corn is cheap. It's a cheap, I have a hair on my face. It's a cheap sweetener, right? You have millions and millions of rows of corn, and this has been a big issue in the food industry, is using corn and corn syrup. High fructose meaning high sugar. Anything that ends in ose is generally a sugar. So high fructose corn syrup has zero nutritional value. It says it's often used as a sweetener in diet foods, can lead to insulin resistance, obesity, and other health problems. Okay, so we don't want to be insulin resistant. The next one, trans fats. Also found in many processed foods. They can increase your bad cholesterol levels, and they can actually lower your good cholesterol levels, leading to heart disease. The plaque can build up, and it can really just block the blood flow to your heart and lead to heart disease, which is actually one of the #1 killers in women. Highly processed grains, found in like breads and crackers. Again, highly processed. It can cause inflammation and disruption in your gut and your digestive system. Artificial colors and flavors. If you see the word artificial in your food, it means fake. We don't want to eat fake food. They're additives. They can cause allergic reactions. It's interesting. There's been so many links to ADHD and issues with kids focusing with foods, like Fruit Loops, like all those things that have tons of artificial food coloring, food dyes, certain dyes, frostings with the bright colors and that kind of stuff. Just don't eat anything that says artificial on it. If it says natural and artificial colors or flavors, it really means it's artificial, and they put one tiny little drop of something real in there. Hydrogenated oils, which are often used to increase the shelf life of processed foods. Again, they can lead to inflammation and other issues. MSG, which is called monosodium glutamate. It's a flavor enhancer. They used to talk about that a lot in Chinese food, and people were getting headaches from eating Chinese food. It can cause headaches, nausea, and other health issues. Carrageenan is often used as a thickener in diet foods, but can also cause digestive issues, inflammation, and even cancer. Sodium nitrate and nitrates often found in like processed meats, deli meats. That's why pregnant women aren't supposed to have deli meats during pregnancy, but bacon, turkey, ham, you want to find the nitrate and nitrite free kinds, and generally that's going to mean like $11.99 a pound, right? It's the more expensive ones that have less crap in it. But that, again, if you're eating too much of these things, it can increase your risk of cancer. If you see ingredients, like we want like labels that have 2 to 5 ingredients, not a ton of shelf stabilizers and chemicals to, let me take, for instance, so my husband and I, we bought a milking machine. He bought it for my birthday. I think it was 3 years ago, right before COVID. And that was because we were drinking so much almond milk out of a carton. And I kept hearing such bad things about all the chemicals and ingredients and weird things in almond milk. And so I had seen this ad on Instagram for a milker, and I told my husband, I was like, I need one of those. We drink so much almond milk. We were buying like 2 things of almond, like a twin pack every week. And so he bought me the milker, and I started making our own almond milk, cashew milk, oat milk, coconut milk. And it was literally just water and the other ingredients, water and oats, water and nuts, water and coconut. And you can add a little bit of salt. You can add a little bit of maple syrup to enhance it. But when it's in the fridge, it separates, right? So the heavier stuff falls to the bottom and the water kind of separates to the top. So every time you pick up the bottle, you shake it, right? And it comes back together. Well, these almond milks that are in the store, they have a bunch of chemicals in them so that they don't separate, so that people don't freak out and go, ooh, I don't want that one. Like, it doesn't look good, you know? And so they add a lot of chemicals to keep the product shelf stable, to give them the consistency that people are used to and want. And so what we want to do, instead of choosing processed diet foods, is to move towards whole food diets, right? And so it's super important that if we are using convenience foods like shakes and bars and that kind of stuff, that it's the companies that are reputable. And that's why I started using Beachbody 8 years ago, because I got to know the creators of the products, and that it was their mission to create products that were what do you call it, like organically farmed and sustainable farming, meaning it doesn't ruin the country that they're getting the ingredients from, that they're fairly farmed, that people are being paid appropriate wages for doing this stuff, and that the ingredients are maintaining the integrity of what they're supposed to deliver. So if you have adaptogens in your shakes, that they actually maintain their integrity and lower stress and help reduce inflammation and do the things that they're supposed to do in your food. No artificial sweeteners, flavors, no preservatives. You want to find good foods. When I think of another bar, so I love the Beach bars because, you know, stacked up to all the other bars, the sugar is low, the fiber is high, it's 150 calories, it's got a lot of protein, it's got good ingredients. The ingredients list, you trust it. Another one, if I think of it, is like an RX bar. They tout that they have 4 ingredients, and they list the 4 ingredients on the front of the bar, right? It's like egg whites and figs and dates and whatever, right? And so you really need to become a lover of food label dissection, is what I'm getting at, because it's gonna tell you, I'm not gonna eat that food anymore, or I'm only gonna be eating a little bit of that food on occasion, right? And what happens is, and this is why Lisa's probably like, she's picking apart all the foods that I've been eating. But guess what? The cool thing is there's room to grow. There's a place to go here. There's something to remove. And when you add in more whole foods, number one, you get to eat a whole lot more. So Lisa's bars were 200 calories. She can eat so much more whole foods now and feel satiated and have different flavors and textures and get more nutrients in her food and take out some of the crap that's probably making her hold on to the belly bloat. And so that's exciting to me, as there's a place to grow and a place to improve. And that's when also you're going to see yourself go from a size 8 to a size 4. You're going to see your skin start to look and feel better. People are going to notice that your energy is better because you don't have all these ingredients that are making you feel headaches and lethargic and all that stuff. So that's my talk for today. And you will hear this again probably next month, but or in a couple weeks when we start the Step into Strength Challenge. But it's so important, and you have to hear it over and over again, and you may have to hear it from different people, and maybe go Google it now and learn on your own and start to get curious and research, because that's when we truly start to get empowered. I gotta go because my husband's calling to make sure that I am awake. All right, love you guys, bye.